Hello, you're welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you're a returning subscriber, you know I'm so appreciative of you. And if you're just seeing me here for the first time, my name is Shinaza, and on this channel we talk about the woman, we talk about lifestyle, we talk about everything trending. Okay, not really everything trending, but we talk about some things that are trending. So do well to subscribe if you think you would want to be a part of this channel. Okay, thank you so much. So in today's video, I want to talk about my experiences working as an agency staff here in the UK and also having a permanent role in the healthcare system. Okay, so I just want to talk about my experiences in the two worlds. Like I've experienced the two worlds of having to work as an agency staff and having to work as a permanent staff. And today, I want to talk about the good and not so good sides of the both kinds of work. Okay, so let's get straight into it. First of all, I'm going to talk about the advantages of the both sides, and then I'll talk about the disadvantages, or rather, I would say the good sides and not so good sides. You know, everything that is good in this world has a side that is not so wonderful. I think that's just the way life is. All right, so let's just talk about them. Okay, the first advantage of working as an agency staff is flexibility. Oh my goodness me. Like flexibility. Like you wouldn't want to joke with that. Okay, so let's say you've got kids. You know, there's a lot of responsibility that has to do with raising kids here alone in the UK because it's not like maybe back home where we have like people to help us out, like our family and friends and neighbors and stuff like that. Here, you're going to do it on your own. Okay, so sometimes it can be very tricky having to like walk in your family and as well as your work, like balance the both. Like it can be very difficult. So if you're an agency worker, you'll be able to pick your shifts when you feel it's going to be convenient for you. Okay, without having to cause problems for someone else or some other people. Okay, so that's what like flexibility does as an agency worker. Some agencies gives you the ability or the opportunity to choose the kind of shifts you want for the week, right? So for example, let me give myself as an example. Now, my name is Chinaza, right? So they might be like, okay, Chinaza, what days can you work this week? And then I'll be like, okay, I can work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, right? Now I've given them my availability for the week. So they're going to work it in for me. So which means that these days that I've said I'm going to come, I'm supposed to show up at work, right? That's what agency does. Like it gives you the ability to gives you the opportunity to choose, the days that you can work in that week. You know, they don't just tell you, okay, you're working this day or you're working that day. Also, some agencies, they don't even like ask you when you want to work or when you don't want to work. They already have an app. So if you go to their app, there's a list of the vacancies available for the shifts that are available for the week or for the week ahead or even for the next month or the next 2 months, depending. Okay. So some agencies they just post it on their app. So all you have to do is to go to the app and look at and have a look at the available shifts, and then you choose the one you can work. Okay, so let's say that you feel that you can work today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, and they have dates obviously. So you choose them, like you click on it, like okay, you take it yourself because you're not under any obligation to choose a particular shift or a particular day. So it's like whenever it's convenient for you, you pick shifts and you go and do those shifts. Okay, so that's what like the flexibility that comes with working as an agency staff. All right. Now to the second advantage of working as an agency staff is working as an agency staff gives you an opportunity to know new places, like to discover new places around you or even far away from you. Okay. Some agencies they put you to different places. Like today they send you to somewhere, next day they send you to somewhere else. Like you find out that you're traveling a lot. Like you don't just work in a particular place when you're working for an agency. Like in most agencies, you don't work at a particular place. So today you're traveling like 2 miles away from your house. The next day you're traveling like 10 miles, sometimes 20 miles, sometimes 14 miles. Depends on how far it is that they put you, right? And how far it is your shift or where they put you is. So working as an agency staff gives you the opportunity to learn new places, right? Because obviously you're going to be traveling all the time, going to new places all the time. So I would say because of agency, I've been able to master the art of using the Google map because you'll be needing it a lot. Like you'll be needing it a lot. Otherwise, if you don't know how to use the Google map or how to find your way around the bus systems and stuff like that, you might find yourself in another country. Just kidding. But then that's what agency does for you. Like you get to go to so many places, like so many places that ordinarily you don't have woken up one day and decided you are going to. Okay, if not for the work. All right. So for me, I feel, I mean, someone else might not like it, but personally, I like going to new places. I like traveling and just finding, discovering new places and stuff like that. So for me, it's an advantage of working as an agency. Okay. So the third advantage of working as an agency is that they pay you weekly. Hmm. Okay. So you're sure that every week you're getting your money that you worked for the previous week. There's no stories attached, no sentiments attached. They are going to pay you your money. So it's not like you hardly go broke if you're working as an agency staff. You hardly go broke because money is entering into your account every week. So you can even plan your life around that. You can plan yourself around that. It's very, very good. Like no matter how bad it gets, you're very sure that you're gonna get your money at the end of every week. If you had worked the week previously, obviously. So that's a very beautiful part of working as an agency staff. And then the next advantage of working as an agency staff, as a healthcare worker here in the UK is that the rates are higher. Okay. So when I mean the rates, I mean like the money that you get paid as an agency worker is higher than if it was a permanent job. So this is what I mean. Now, I think the minimum wage is around £9.50 or £10.50, something like that, right? Okay, now a lot of organizations, a lot of care organizations pay exactly that minimum wage, or some people will just add like £1 extra or £2 extra per hour. Okay, but most agencies they go a like they go like a step further. They might pay, like, let's say for example that a care home pays their staff like £10 an hour, right? If you're working for an agency, they can't pay you £10 an hour. Instead, they pay you 11, 12, or 13 or £14 an hour, depending on the kind of agency that you're working for. So the rates are definitely higher. Okay, so I feel it's brilliant. I mean, with the cost of living crisis going on in the world today, especially like here in the UK, like it's overwhelming. So when you get that extra pound or extra £2 or extra £3, to your wages, it's not bad at all. Like it's not bad. It would go a long way. So the rates are definitely, most cases they are higher than, if it was in a permanent work. Yeah. And then another advantage of working as an agency staff is that you get to meet new people. I like meeting new people. I like listening to people's stories and having a good laugh and having a good time. So whenever I'm going to work, I know I'm definitely going to have a good time. Sometimes you may not really have a wonderful time as you had envisaged, but all in all, working as an agency staff gives me the opportunity to meet people of different orientations in life, different walks of life, especially the patients. I like asking them questions, listening to their stories. Some stories can be very funny, very touching, and stuff like that. So I just like it. So that's what working as an agency staff can do for you. So if you're someone that is interested in those kind of things, like meeting new people all the time and stuff like that, then definitely agency working will give you that. And then the next advantage is that you learn a lot of skills working as an agency staff. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, you go to a particular home, they have a way of doing things, they have a way of operating some certain machines, they have a way of doing a lot of things, right? You're going to learn that skill. And if you go to another home, they also have their own way of doing things. You learn how to use a lot of machines. You learn new skills at every home that you go to as an agency staff. There's definitely something for you to learn there, which you can always add to your skill set as a healthcare worker. So these are some of the advantages of working as an agency worker. And now let's talk about the advantages of working as a permanent staff in an organization, in a care home or in a hospital or in a care organization. Let's talk about the advantages. We just finished talking about the advantages of working as an agency worker. So let's talk about the advantages of working as a permanent staff. Okay. Number one, advantage of working as a permanent staff is that your work hours are you're very sure of your work hours, which means you don't need to worry about whether there will be shifts availability for you to work at a particular day or at a particular week or something like that. There is always work for you to do because you're a permanent staff. Your name is already on the rota. Okay, so there will definitely be work for you to do. So you don't need to bother about that. That's one advantage of working as a permanent staff. And the second advantage is that your work is assured. Your work is like, um how do I put it? Your work is certain, right? So anything can happen. Like for example, if you're working as an agency, they might just wake up one morning and tell you that you might just wake up one morning and realize that there's no shift available as an agency worker or something like that. But if you're a permanent staff in a care organization or in a if you're a permanent staff, it's very, very rare for you to listen for them to tell you that there's no work to do. No, you have to be coming to work every week. Like there's nothing like there's no shifts today. No, that kind of thing doesn't happen when you're a permanent staff. So your work is assured, your employment is assured. Like you don't even need to bother yourself about that. I would call it job protection. Like there's a job protection when you're working as a permanent staff. You don't need to bother about how the economy goes or stuff like that because in most cases it will not affect you because you're a permanent staff. It's very, I mean, in most cases, like I said, it will not really, really affect you. So you're sure that you've got a job that you go to every day. Okay. And then another advantage of working as a permanent staff in a care setting is that there's a lot of incentives that you're giving. So sometimes some coupons are given to you, to the care workers, to the staffs and stuff like that to just go shopping and get some nice things for themselves, which can really be quite a lot. So you have a lot of all those lovely, lovely incentives, when you're a permanent worker that you would benefit from, as opposed to if you're not a permanent staff in that, care settings. So these are things I feel are the advantages of working as a permanent staff in a care setting. Another advantage of working as a permanent staff, in a healthcare organization is that you don't always have to travel so many places, thereby spending a lot of money on transport. You have a particular place where you work. So which means if you're leaving your house, you're going to that place, like you're going to work. And after work, you're going straight back home. So you don't have to be jumping buses, trying to get to new places or trying to get to new areas or stuff like that. No, if you're working as a permanent staff, you already know your way to work. You already know the number of buses that you're going to enter. Like it's not even going to be a problem for you at all. You're already used to it. So you go to work, you come back. You already plan yourself. You already know that this is how much you're going to spend on transport for the week if you're working as a permanent staff. As opposed to when you're working as an agency staff, most times you don't even know how much you're going to spend on transport going to some particular places and stuff like that. So it's a very good advantage of working as a permanent staff in a healthcare setting. Another advantage of working in a healthcare system as a permanent staff is that you're going to be paid your salary at the end of the month, assuming you fell sick and you couldn't, cover your entire shifts. Okay, so they make provisions for sick, things like sickness or something like that, or emergencies, right? So they still pay you at the end of the month, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, so whether you completed your shift for that month or not, you're still going to be paid because you're a permanent staff if you have a very good reason of being absent, which is a wonderful thing. So let's start with the disadvantage of working as an agency staff. Number one disadvantage of working as an agency staff is that your contract can end at any time. You might wake up one morning and that agency that you're working for no longer recruits people or they no longer need your services, maybe as a result of something beyond your control or something like that. So that means your work has finished there. So it's really uncertain. You wouldn't want to wake up one morning and the source of your income just ends like that. Like nobody wants that, especially in this economy. Number two, you're not guaranteed shifts. Okay. Unlike a permanent care home where, or let me say permanent care setting where you always know that there's always going to be work for you to do. Okay. But in agency, if you're an agency worker, you're not always guaranteed shifts, especially now. A lot of people complain that they don't get shifts anymore. I don't know why, but I feel a lot of care organizations has recruited workers themselves. Like they didn't use the agency anymore, so they recruited workers themselves. So what this means for an agency worker is that your services are no longer needed because they already have people that are already working for them, like permanent staff. So this can affect your availability for shifts. So sometimes you find out that as an agency worker, you may not even get a shift for like a week. Some people don't even get a shift the whole week. Like they don't even get a shift. Some people don't even get a shift for like 2 weeks, like waiting for availability of shifts. There's no shift anywhere. So that's not even funny because you have bills to pay. They are piling up, they are waiting for you. So it's really, really terrible, if that's the case, right? So that's one of the disadvantages of being an agency worker. And then the next disadvantage of being an agency worker is that you spend a lot of time on the road, traveling to work, traveling to very far distances. A lot of people do not like that because you're going to spend a lot of time and possibly, a good amount of money for transport, going to work and coming back, stuff like that. Especially when they put you in different places, like today they put you in this place, next day they put you like that kind of thing can really be very stressful for people who do not like traveling a lot. So that's a disadvantage of working as an agency worker. If you're not someone that loves to travel, or if you're not someone that loves to spend a lot of time on the road, going to work and coming back from work, to be honest, it can be very, very tiring. It's going to be a disadvantage. It's a disadvantage of working as an agency worker. And then the next disadvantage of working as an agency worker is that you're always going to be a newcomer every time. Like every time you come into a care home, you're a new worker because you're a newcomer because you've not been there before in most cases. You understand? So let's say you come to this home today, and then the next day you go to another home. So every day you're meeting new people that have different needs. You're meeting new co-workers. You're meeting like you're always like always meeting new people every day, and some people can really find that unsettling. Like they just don't want that. Like meeting new people all the time, all the time, all the time. It can be draining. Like learning their systems, learning how they do their things every blessed day because you're going to different homes can be a disadvantage for people who don't really fancy that. So that's one of the disadvantages of working as an agency worker. Another disadvantage of working as an agency worker is that most times if you don't come to work, you don't get paid. That's just the way it is. So let's say that your child got sick for a whole week or something, and then because of that, you were not able to work that week. Sorry, so they only pay you for what you've done, for the work that you've done. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of working as a permanent worker in a healthcare setting. Okay. Number one is that there's not much flexibility. Okay. So your name is already on the rota for the month, sometimes even for 2, 3, sometimes even for 2, 3 months. Okay, so that means like you have to commit to that rota. In most cases, it is your responsibility to commit to that rota. Okay. And if you have a lot of challenges, with childcare and stuff like that, it can really be daunting for you. Another disadvantage of working as a permanent, staff in a healthcare setting is that you don't get to meet new people. So if you're someone that loves to meet new people or to go to new places, then this is going to be a disadvantage for you because you're always going to be coming to work. Like every day you're going to work, you're going to that particular home. You're meeting those same people, you're meeting the same colleagues. I don't know if to call it a disadvantage or not, but it's just like you don't really get to learn a lot as opposed to if you were an agency staff where you get to meet a lot of people on a daily basis and learn a lot of skills and stuff like that. So it's kind of a slight disadvantage or something like that, but it's kind of like your knowledge can kind of will just be limited to those people that you're working with. That's what I mean. Like, so these are what I feel are the disadvantages of working as a permanent staff. So I don't think there's a lot of disadvantages in it. But it's good, that you know the pros and the cons of this thing so that if it's something that you want to go into, you'll be able to like weigh your options and see the one you can do, considering your circumstances and stuff like that. So if you like this video, kindly like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that the next time I post a video, you're going to see it and you're going to hop right into this place so that we can have a nice time together. Okay? Until my next video, thank you so much again for staying with me for this long. Bye.